Standard training is absolutely essential. It builds competence, it gets the job done, we all know that. But what if good enough isn't actually good enough to win in your market? Today, we're going to look at a framework that does way more than just teach. It's actually designed to forge your team's knowledge into a competitive weapon.
So you really have to ask yourself, what is your training actually doing? Is it just checking a box, creating competent employees who can follow a process? Or is it building something your competitors can't touch, a strategic weapon they can't replicate? Because that difference, well, it's everything. And this slide really gets to the heart of it. On one side, you've got the standard model. It creates competence, which is fine, it's good. But on the other side, you have the Ferox framework, which is engineered for something else entirely, forging competitive power. So let's dive in and see how it actually works.
All right, first up, deconstructing for advantage. This whole first section is about fundamentally changing how we look at a skill in the first place. What's so interesting here is the language itself. The standard model calls it unpacking know-how. It sounds kind of gentle, right? But the Ferox upgrade is strategic deconstruction. That sounds analytical, it sounds aggressive. It's like taking an engine apart piece by piece, not just to see how it works, but to find the exact parts that delivered the most horsepower. So how do they do this? Well, it comes down to two key activities. First, there's competitive advantage mapping, where you literally isolate the exact moments, the value spikes in a process that create a real measurable advantage. And second, and this part is just crucial, is failure point analysis. You actively go out and dig up past mistakes, all the costly errors and the bad habits. And this leads to a really powerful insight. By documenting and teaching people all the common traps, you're not just giving them a map to success, you're clearly marking where all the landmines are buried. And that can accelerate mastery like you wouldn't believe, just by preventing those predictable, costly failures right from the get-go. Okay, so once the process is completely deconstructed, where do you learn it? That brings us to section 2, which is all about simulating pressure and creating a very, very different kind of learning environment. Here again, the language tells the whole story. Design the learning experience sounds comfortable, doesn't it? It sounds safe. Performance simulation sounds exactly like what it is, a high-fidelity, high-pressure copy of the real world. The goal isn't comfort. The goal is to build resilience before it actually counts. And they pull this off in two main ways. First, pressure testing. This is where you introduce real-world constraints, tight deadlines, angry clients, incomplete data. Then there's scalability blueprinting. This forces you to design the training from day one with one critical question in mind. Can we train 50, 100, 1,000 people to do this consistently and effectively? And this is the whole strategic purpose. The simulation is designed to be tough. It's meant to find the breaking points in a totally controlled environment so that when the pressure is real and the consequences are high, the performer has already been there, done that, and knows exactly how to handle it. So we have the right content, and we've got the right environment. But who's actually doing the teaching? Section 3, Mentoring for Impact, totally redefines the role of the expert. The big shift here is moving from a simple deliver and coach model to what's called high-impact mentorship. The expert isn't just an instructor anymore. They're not just a talking head. They're a strategic partner who is invested in making sure the learner can create real, tangible business impact. At the very heart of this is the challenger coaching model. So instead of a mentor just saying, "You missed a step," they ask, "Why did you choose that approach? Walk me through your thinking." See the difference? This doesn't just build muscle memory, it builds strategic judgment. And to make it all stick, this model is paired with KPI-driven feedback loops. So feedback isn't vague or subjective. It is tied directly to the key performance indicators, the KPIs of the business. The conversation isn't about whether a sales pitch sounded good. It's about whether it actually improved conversion rates on the practice calls. It's all about results. And that brings us to the final, and maybe the most important, upgrade of them all, certifying value. How do you actually know if any of this worked?
Well, it all starts by redefining what the word certified even means.
The standard model, right, it assesses for competence. The question is, can you perform the task? The Ferox upgrade is a value certification, and the question is completely different. Can you create measurable business value with this skill right now, today? So certification becomes a two-part test. First, the learner has to demonstrate a positive return on investment in a final project. They have to actually prove they can generate results. And second, just when they think they're done, they face the curveball, some unexpected problem thrown into the final test. This proves they can adapt the skill under real pressure, which is the true hallmark of mastery. So when you put all these 4 upgrades together, what you get is way more than just a better training program. You get a fundamental shift in philosophy, a whole new way of thinking. And here is the bottom line. It's this simple. The standard model is excellent for teaching people how to complete tasks, but the Ferox framework is designed for something else entirely. It's built to forge people into strategic assets for the organization. This right here is the ultimate promise of the framework. It transforms knowledge transfer so the end result isn't just more information in someone's head. It's a tangible, usable, and scalable competitive advantage for the entire business. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Looking at how your own team learns, how they teach, which part of that process could really use a high-performance engine? Because the answer to that question might just be the key to your next big breakthrough.